So it turns out if you make videos about filmmaking, nobody watches them. But if you make a YouTube video about a camera, the whole world shows up to yell at you. I even had my hook stolen, which was kind of an odd and flattering experience at the same time. You could call it remixed or sampled, I guess. Again, strange. So let's talk about what happened and why everybody's mad at me. A few days ago, I made a video about the Sony fx5, the miracle camera that the whole world is talking about. But for me, there's things I think that they really kind of missed and could have done a much better job of. This elicited all the Sony fanboys and internet critics to come out and share their 2 cents on my video. So I want to cue back in and tell you why I decided to make that video and why I think that Sony really kind of fell off with the fx5 in terms of the run they've had over the last couple of years. My name is Jacinto. I'm a director and DP based out of San Francisco. I've shot work for corporate clients, documentaries, and commercial work. I love creating images and telling stories on my own time. Now I'm trying to put some of that here on the internet, a real person working in the industry, sharing their experiences. The fx3 was a groundbreaking camera. It came at a time where if you were shooting video, you were either shooting on these big tier cinema line products or you were shooting on hybrid cameras, which was, needless to say, not an ideal experience. That hybrid camera era was completely changed by the fx3. It came onto the scene and it showed that there is a need for prosumer grade video cameras for video production purposes. That a small camera body and a good sensor can get the job done. And it's absolutely reigned supreme in the category for the last 5 years. Sony, from my perspective, has fumbled this championship run with the fx5. And as I said in my last video, the whole naming scheme here is entirely a marketing ploy. If they had called it the fx3 Mark II, sales of the fx3 would completely plummet. Calling it the fx5 allows them to support both lines without effectively killing the fx3 line, although it is really just an fx3 in disguise. The point that's interesting with the fx5 is the fact that they didn't change the game in the same way that the fx3 did. It seems like people are so ready to apologize for the things that are lacking from these cameras rather than just expecting something better. People are so prepared to shell out another $5,000 every couple of years to stay on the latest and greatest without there really being meaningful change. And that is the point that we need to be paying more attention to. The fx3, when it came out 5 years ago, is the same price essentially as the fx5 is now. You ever really notice that headline price of a camera in a specific category never really changes? Camera manufacturers essentially jury-rig the system by keeping the price of their flagship products over time essentially the same by adding little tiny bits of improvement. It's a tricky point to explain, but I think the nature of the situation is every year we are convinced it's time to go out and shelf for another camera, or we'll be behind the curve, that you won't be good as that other guy bidding on the project because you don't have that, extra stop of dynamic range, or you don't have image stability, or whatever it is. And to agree that's true, and that's a situation that is enforced by producers and clients, but it's also something that we can control ourselves. And it's something that I've said before on YouTube, and I'll say it again, is your ability to get work and make amazing projects is not based on the camera that you have. It is based on the value of your creative vision, your ability to maintain client relationships. None of these things are predicated on the sensor in your camera. But there's a dialogue on YouTube, in filmmaking in general, on sets. It's that if you rock up with the latest and greatest camera, you're probably a bigger than the other guy on set who brought the last iteration. But these camera wars, I think, are some of the most degradative things that go on in the filmmaking industry and community. We should be celebrating the work that is made, not necessarily the latest camera release. And from my perspective, that's why the fx5 is so much of a flop, in the way that it was built up with such an extreme, intense drum roll and all this enthusiasm online from all these different YouTubers and communities and the whole 9 yards. Granted, the new RAW codec with a light bitrate is actually very, very cool and exciting, and I think that will be the biggest thing that is remembered from this launch. I don't think there should be the standing ovation that there is for a camera that is just kind of another step in the same direction, iterating on what came before for a massive price tag. I'm in favor of products that make filmmaking more accessible for more people. The fx5 is the right tool for certain teams on certain projects, but is it the camera you need to have to get that project or be on that set or create that vision that you have in your head? Absolutely not. I used to have a problem where I'd buy and sell cars all the time. One year I had 5 cars within 12 months. And I kept telling myself, this would be the thing that would solve the problem or would get me the place that I want to be. When I started realizing that a car, like anything else, is a tool for certain purposes, and once you meet that purpose, you can be satisfied with that. It's a means to an end. It's not a road on a path towards glory. Satisfy the needs that you have with the tools that you have, and then stop searching. The FX5 is a boring launch to me because it didn't change a ton in the game for how much hype that it got. And to the people raging the comments from a guy just in his garage talking to a camera, you gotta go find something else to worry about. There's a lot more upsetting things in this world going on. And on top of that, if you didn't like the title and the thumbnail, you picked it. If you like long, drawn-out think pieces and insights from someone really working in the industry, follow this channel. I got more coming out soon that is not camera-specific, just real filmmaking, creative conversations. If you want to edit video faster, go check out threadlinestudio.io. It's a project that I built myself, and you can use it for 14 days free when you use the link down in the bio. I'd love to know, what do you think of the FX5 launch? Is it going to be something you're absolutely going to pick up, or do you already have the camera that you need right now? I genuinely love to know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.